The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back to The Local Show. I'm Steve Roberts here with my co-host, George Powers. Tom Sakosha is taking a holiday. I actually wasn't feeling that good, George.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like the holiday you take. You go on vacation on holiday. He's sick. And
well, you know, there are advantages to owning the joint. I don't know what they are, George. You're my accountant.
I'm still waiting to know what the advantages of owning any joint is, yes.
But we are here right now with John Liddy, who's the Vice President of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at CenterState CEO. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
So how did that happen? How did you get involved with CenterState? You get a little closer to that mic, too.
Sure. I tell people I'm a recovering entrepreneur. And so I sold my last building, aging myself here, on 9/11, the actual day.
Building or business?
Business.
Okay.
Sorry, I said building. So I sold my last business, and then I went into the commercial world for a while and till 2009. And then I got fired for being entrepreneurial in my past business.
Absolutely.
And then...
they don't like that.
No. I had a 2-year window to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was approached by the then... Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And Syracuse University started an accelerator for students that were trying to execute on their entrepreneurial ideas. Started something called the Student Sandbox at what was then the Tech Garden.
There we go, yeah.
We kicked it off with 5 teams. That went well, ran that for about...
So they were, hey, we're going to start a business. Help us? Is that what the crowd
correct.
was?
Yeah. So they would do things in class and when they write a paper about it, but they never really could go do it and have that
Were they like you or, hey, I'm going to build a better mousetrap, entrepreneurial, really out there? Or was it more structured and made them do business plans and all those kinds of things? Or maybe a combination?
A mix of both. What we did is we actually took a couple of them that had been in business plan competitions and recognized why those business plans weren't really valid. Okay. And so we brought them to, hey, that's great that you did this customer discovery. You talked to a bunch of people about your opportunity, but they didn't have money, authority, and desire to actually make the purchase, so you had bad data.
Yeah.
And so this was the value of actually doing the business versus just writing about it.
Okay, so this is where it all started. Tell me how it evolved.
And so that went well. We had, at one point, we had 12 different universities participating. And then the university said, hey, we should do this on our own campus. And they brought them back to their campuses, recognized the value of an accelerator program or cohort programming at the Tech Garden. And so then then there was CenterState happened when the combination of the MBA and the Chamber of Commerce. And when after that happened, they say, hey, these programs or cohort opportunities are really valuable and they're getting a lot out of it. And so we started getting into things like the Genius New York program, which is the world's largest UAS accelerator. And I was serving as the entrepreneur in residence. So I was, hey, here you have subject matter experts like George in accounting, and then you have, hey, this is the entrepreneurial journey. And I would help all the teams with that stuff. And that I just kept being involved on that side. And then about 3 years ago, we talked about, hey, would you take a leadership role? And then I became the VP of Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
So you went from, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going to invent stuff, do stuff, to like a desk in an office and like a flow chart of who's in charge
Helping
of you.
people invent stuff.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you to do?
You know what it is every day is different. And so imagine starting one business and grinding in that, or helping hundreds of businesses and get to go on their journey.
That's kind of exciting, yes.
Yeah, so people take the leap, and it takes a lot of courage to do that.
It sure does.
Right, George? I mean,
Well, I would argue that it takes more courage to not.
Unpack that.
I grew up with my father as an executive in Carrier, and through the Carrier and United Technologies, and people that remember those ages. And what they did, they just would take every bit of soul from you. And I decided as a youngster, I was never going to work for a big company, and I was never going to work for somebody that had my soul, because I was going to be willing to do it my way. And I always had a hard time being an employee, because I was always telling the boss they were doing it wrong. And back to you, they don't really appreciate that. So I think it is, in many ways, not risky to bet on yourself. If I'm going to bet on someone, I'll bet on myself.
So you're saying you have more control that way?
Correct.
Even if it's the example I use for entrepreneurs is they knit a parachute on the way after they jumped out of the plane on the way down to catch themselves.
That's right.
All right. There's a lot of that, right?
Don't know how I'm going to do it. We'll figure it out on the way.
And there's research that shows that. It's called this pilot the plane principle. They don't know where they're going to land, but they're going to land.
Oh, there's actually,
That's really true.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. The woman out of the Darden School, University of Virginia, Sarah Sarasvathy, did a bunch of research, and that's one of the 5 concepts that she says that pilot the plane. They don't know where they're going to land or what's going to be on that plane, but they have the confidence to land it.
So how do you lead that?
It's a lot of coaching, not consulting. And so it's mindset. It is, are you understanding what is the problem you're solving versus where people fail is, I got a solution and in search of a problem.
Yes.
And so they fall in love with their thing versus the problem that their customer has. And so it's switching that mindset to be a solver versus a creator.
Somebody, maybe it was George years ago, said if you can solve a problem, you can create a business solving that problem and you might be successful. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And just to comment on your thing relative to being in business, a statistic people don't really know is that the average entrepreneur in the United States is 53 years old.
Oh, I did not know that.
And that's because they've been in a business and maybe they tried something, they got worn down, then they recognize, hey, here's a problem in this industry. I have a better mousetrap. I have a better solution. I'm going to break out of my corporate cubicle world and I'm going to go solve that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's really now. What is CenterState doing? I know you're there and you're helping people. You're coaching them. Didn't you just create some new real estate downtown to help
really
these
pretty
folks?
too?
Yeah. We added 46,000 square feet to what was then called the Tech Garden. We have rebranded to the Inspire Innovation Hub, and we rebranded for not just because it's a big shiny new building, because we've changed our locus of who we're serving. It used to be high tech, venture capital backable, and that was it. Mm-hmm. We reconfigured our staff so that we could serve a broader audience, and that's everyone from the ideation stage at a pizza place to, hey, I'm in one of these corporations in town that has to figure out how to be more innovative internally. And so we have that wide breadth of opportunity to serve
Where
people.
does the Small Business Development Center and those folks up there, and George is familiar, I've taught some classes up there, and I know George has, and different things. Where does what you're doing and they're doing meet?
In a couple of different places, and they do great work. They actually have an office in our building.
Okay.
And,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, and so they have a couple of advisors that work out of there. And we want to be a convener of innovation and entrepreneurship, not a just owner. And so we see that as, hey, you're the SBDC, you want to have a class here, you want to have clients here, come use our space. And that is true for other entrepreneurial and innovation organizations.
How far do folks have to be able to step into your space and say, hey, I want to hang my shingle down here or get into one of your clusters and groups? Do they have to have it all done? Do they have to, How far along do they have to be? Where do they have to be in the process?
And that's part of the process. Like if they're very nascent, they're really early, we'll send them to the SBDC and say, hey, you know what? You're ready. We do
that. George does it. I do. Not every week, but I'm constantly saying, hey, that's a great idea. You're too early to talk marketing and advertising here at Zoe.
Right.
And I don't want you to waste your money. So get these foundations. So you send them to do the foundations. Is that fair?
That's correct. Yeah. We have people that can do the ideation, and we have a couple of different cohorts that we've worked on. We've done some in the food industry. If you've ever been to Salt City Market, most of those people have gone through a class that we've put on. And so
great concept.
Yeah. And so we work with those folks. Usually on a side hustle that they're trying to figure out. And so we'll do classes at night and make sure that we can meet them where they are.
So if someone wanted to have a conversation about the space, the idea, what you provide, they can get that information at inspirehub.com.
Inspirehub.com.
So it's a .com, and the space down there is. Have you been in there, George?
Not the new space.
I've walked by. No one's invited me in. Hint.
Just walk in.
I just wonder
if
we only knew somebody there, George, we could walk in. But
we'll have you down anytime, Steve.
We would love to. I'll drag George with me.
There we go.
So we appreciate John Liddy from the CenterState CEO, Vice President of Innovation Entrepreneurship, joining us here today. We appreciate you coming.
Good to see you again.